Up to you guys if you want to. Yeah, let's do it because I've still got the fuel report and the ridership.
All right, it's 5:36. We call the Takata Board to order. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Trustee Singleton.
Present.
Trustee Hatchard. Trustee Jackson.
Present.
Trustee Robinson, present.
We do have a quorum. We'd like to motion to approve the agenda as presented. Motion to approve the agenda.
I make that motion.
Second.
Okay, been moved by Trustee Robinson, seconded by Trustee Hatcher. Roll call.
Trustee Jackson.
Yes.
Trustee Hatchard. Trustee Singleton.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson, yes.
Okay. At this time, we'll hear the approval for the minutes. Anybody got any questions on the approval of the minutes from November?
No.
Hearing none, roll call for approval of the November minutes.
Trustee Jackson.
Yes.
Trustee Hatchard. Trustee Singleton.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson, yes.
Okay, at this time, it brings us to the finance updates.
So when we moved the meeting from the 23rd to the 16th, Mark from Hungerford isn't able to be here today, but what we'll do is we'll email out the financial report because he isn't able to be here today, but we can send it. And it will be after probably the next week, right? Because our regularly scheduled board meeting was the 23rd. And so that's kind of what he was targeting for. So we'll have it then.
All right. That brings us to the director's update.
I think you're just going to have to stay in the call. Yes, ridership. So I did create the ridership number, but I want you to be aware that the paperwork needs to be corrected. So don't panic. That looks like a huge jump from 10,000 to 6.5. We expect that that's actually much higher. I'm not exactly sure what the cross wires were. I expect we're just behind on paperwork. So that's really what we have for the passenger report. We don't have the fares because the fares come from accounting, but we do have the fuel report for when you guys are ready for that.
You want to go ahead and move to the, any questions on ridership? No question. Okay. Okay, we'll move to the free report.
Here's the fuel report. Again, paperwork is a bit behind. I'm assuming that's the reason for the huge drop in gasoline. Less of a drop in propane.
Cool.
That's
For the free report, yeah. Now, is that because we moved the meeting up? Is it any? Okay.
no, it's not. It's the same paperwork issue. So all of this information is tied together, right? So the same reports or the same information that we use to fill in the passenger counts is the information that we use to do the fuel reports. So if we're missing a chunk of reports, I don't know, Nick, can you talk, do you know exactly what the paperwork holdup is?
Well, it has to go back. It was a mistake happened on the paperwork, and so then you have to go all the way back from date to correct it. You know, you can't just go in and manually correct it because the drivers are still putting in numbers and stuff is still going through. So you have to go back all the way, work it all the way back to bring it present.
Yeah,
And so that's what we're in the process of doing right now.
I'm not sure exactly how long it's gonna take. Obviously, I can have it updated by our January meeting, but if you want it sooner than that, I can get it to you as soon as it's corrected.
Any questions on the field report? Okay. Next one is the Benton Harbor High School Blue Route Flex Stop.
Yeah, so I've had a conversation with Dr. Griffin. She is in favor of the idea and the concept, but as you may be aware, there's a lot of things going on at the high school right now, and so she just hasn't had the opportunity to make the final call. But it is on her plate, and she's favorably inclined, so that might be something that we can resolve in the next week or so.
Right. MDOT.
Yeah, so want to introduce Alex. Alex, can you stand up? Alex is our new NDOT rep. He's replacing Fred Beverly, and he's actually living in the area. So that's great. Because previously, somebody had to drive down and set up a special meeting, but he's actually here. So we're happy about that. Alex, you have anything?
Sure. No, good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I've been with MDOT for 3 years overseeing public transit in Traverse City area, Benzie, Manistee, Cadillac. And my family and I just moved to St. Joe 3 weeks ago. At that time, Fred Featherly, the previous project manager with transit at MDOT, retired. I was lucky enough to step into his role, and now I'm working with Takata and the Southwest Region Public Transit. So thank you for having me again.
Thank you and welcome.
Yep, welcome.
So old business, we are in the process of getting automatic garage doors so that when the buses approach the doors, it opens, and when they leave, it'll close automatically. So that will hopefully happen before the next board meeting. I'm working on it really hard, so it could happen within a week. It's supposed to happen actually starting on Friday, so we'll see.
Okay, just for housekeeping, we need to do a motion to accept the director's updates as was presented, so just for the record.
I so move.
It's been moved by trustee Robinson, seconded by trustee Hatchett. Roll call.
Trustee Jackson.
Yes.
Trustee Hatchard. Trustee Singleton.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson, yes.
Okay. All right, we covered the old business. Any questions on the old business, garage doors? Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is the new business.
So we want to do 2026 Takata board members introduction. We know that, I guess, Mr. Little, do you have something to say? Because Mr. Little is going to be on the board as recent as last night. It was approved.
Certainly try to fill in the shoes that I'm following and do the best we can to help continue the organization into the future.
Thank you. Is Mark available?
He is on the phone. The tech issues have overcome me, so, I'm sorry? Oh, he did. It's, well, let me try the link one more time. When I went to start the Teams meeting, we are, it's when I go to start the meeting. Let's see, join now. Yeah, it keeps saying the meeting is unavailable. Maybe it'll work this time. Fingers crossed. Nope.
Okay, let's go with old fashioned.
Yeah.
We'll do the old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned way. All right. Mark, do you want to make your statement?
Sure.
Can everybody hear him okay? Good.
Am I a speaker?
You are.
Okay. Well, good evening to the board. We recently completed our procurement process for turnkey transit management services. This has basically been a year-long endeavor with the Takata staff. We started back around February crafting this RFP, and we actually went with an RFI that went out to the the public in April. We received responses in May. We gathered those responses and from the market, and then we crafted an RFP in August that went out to the market. We got responses back in October. We got about 7 responses, and here we are with the selection process. The procurement was conducted in full compliance with Federal Transit Administration procurement policies and procedures. And after a thorough evaluation, the evaluation committee determined that Via Transportation is the highest ranked proposer, and it is Takado's intent to award the contract for turnkey transit management services to Via Transportation. Thank you. Trissa?
Okay, Ron.
Okay,
Thanks, Mark. I took you off speaker.
all right, as he stated, this was a long process. It had been, had different meetings and public inputs and everything else, asked questions of what it want this thing to look like. And after all the work has been done, we're at this point, and we think it was done thoroughly. So we're at this point now to entertain a motion to take the staff recommendation and
I just have a general question
yes.
about the process of hiring for service industries. How many people that applied for? Were there so many people that we actually interviewed or entertained?
7 companies.
And throughout the time, it was having little different meetings, and people, then they were presenting their whatever they had to offer, and so after all said and done, that's how we got to this point. So, yep.
That's an interview.
Yep.
Yes.
So
Yes, and it's not subjective either. We have a scoring sheet, so we can keep it as fair as possible across the board when we're making these selections for procurements like this. So it was a very thought-through process.
okay, at this time, I entertain a motion to accept the contract.
let
there.
me, I'd like to make a statement. This is something that needed to happen. And as you can see from before, and the results we got now is very positive. Now the Collar is on the move. Dollar Ride will be very more successful now with this new process that has arisen, through Todd Journal. And I'm glad to see it. And I think for the future, it's going to be a lot better, and especially, we got Mr. Little on board. So I thank this system, and I thank how it worked, and who all put it together. Thank you for that.
Trustee Robinson, do you have anything, since we're doing the
Yeah,
statements
I have a
first?
statement as well. This has been a long time coming. We needed to move further and with our technology, and to stay up with the times. And it's very important that Dollar Ride remain in our community. Mm-hmm. And I just think that this is the right direction. And I'm just happy that we're moving forward in a positive direction. And some may not see it as positive at first, but in time, you will see Dollar Ride is growing. It's going to grow. And we're going to move further into the community and be able to offer wider services. We're going to have better technology. We're going to have apps accessible on your phone. So people will know when they call in where that ride is, and won't have to worry. I think we're going to get rid of the idle buses you know, you know what I'm saying? Just sitting and waiting for calls. And that's not a negative, but that's that we have to move to a positive so we can keep them moving. And I'm excited that we're moving in this direction because, you know, things changes. And we have to change and we have to move with the technology and we have to move with the time. And I'm ready to move forward. Thank you.
Okay, just to add to that too, you know, when this board, and I really commend this board that it's been fun to work with. We took on some big tasks, when we stepped in. We knew, you know, the task ahead of us because of the things that was going on, and we don't want to go back and rehash all that stuff. But you know, we were having some challenges and things, and say, how do we fix this thing? You know, how do we keep this much needed service here in this community? And so we just put our heads together, and staff, you know, excellent job, you know, hard work, and come up with something that we, you know, that I'm confident, you know, and optimistic that's going to be great for this community. The growing need, you know, from the time when Takata was first started and to now, this, I mean, it's wide open now that people need to get farther. They need to get to different locations, and they need reliable and efficient transportation in different ways on how to summon those rides. You know, it's a long way from the days of somebody, you know, picking up the old telephone and, you know, calling, and then somebody in the office pulling a card and, you know, hollering out the window and say, hey, go, you know. Those days are gone. You know, technology have advanced, you know, a whole lot. And, you know, I think this would be a good opportunity to take advantage of all those advancements, and people, I think, going to be real pleased. So that's my statement on that. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the contract as recommended by staff. Is there anybody want to make that motion? Okay, it's been moved by Trustee Hatcher.
Second.
Second by Trustee Jackson. A roll call.
Trustee Jackson.
Yes.
Trustee Singleton.
Yes.
Trustee Hatchard. Trustee Robinson, yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Yay.
Okay. At this,
I'm quietly clapping. I'm excited. It's good.
Long time coming.
all right. We'll skip the chair report. Basically, we just reported. So, at this time, we'll open up for public comments. Is there anybody here from VIA? Yeah. Oh, I think, yeah, gentleman here. Yeah. Can you? Yeah.
Good evening, Board. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for the trust and the faith that you've put in our organization to run a very important service that you all are providing to the community. We know that transit's important. It gets people to jobs, it gets people to healthcare appointments, it gets people to seeing friends and relatives, and this is a big and important piece of your community, and the trust that you're placing in VIA. We're honored by that trust, and we're very excited to be a part of your community. My name is Cyrus Cassett. I am the lead for VIA Transportation here in the Midwest, so I work with all of our partners across these states around this area here in Michigan. VIA is we strive to bring a data-driven and rider-centric approach to public transportation. We work in very close partnerships with communities across the world and trying to find ways to build more accessible, more efficient, more rider-friendly transit systems. Our goal is to work with these partners to build transit that really meets people where they are and ensure that no rider is left behind. Here in Michigan, we're actively working with nearly 20 transit agencies across the state, and we're supporting communities of all sizes. We're really focused on modernizing and strengthening transit networks, and we are incredibly excited to be, again, partnering with Takata as we move forward in building this more modern, technology-focused transit system, one that serves riders, improves the amount of rides available, improves accessibility, and delivers an overall better experience for the community. So now as we move into this next phase of our partnership and our work together, our top priority is going to be continuity of operations. Our goal is to ensure a seamless transition for every rider that uses the dial ride service and the fixed route service, and a seamless transition for all of the staff as well. So from there, we're really excited to let the data sort of lead us to what the next evolution of the Takata system looks like. Data is going to be very important. I think we've all talked about the technology. That technology is really going to allow us to capture a better sense of how riders are using the system, where folks are going, where people are going to and from, what times of the day people are riding, and we can really use that data to inform what the next evolution of the Takata system looks like. Now, a really important part of this is also community input. Just as much as data is important, and we will take a lot of data in to really make some great recommendations to you and the board, we really think the community input is just as important. So we plan to spend quite a bit of time talking to community organizations, talking to riders, talking to drivers, really understanding why folks use transit right now, what's working, what's not working, and how we can really improve the system to really serve the community in the best way possible. So as we build this together, we're really excited to continue our work together. We look forward to all the input that we can get from you as the board. I just want to say thank you again, and we're very excited to get to work. Thank you very much again for the partnership, and we look forward to more conversations like this.
Thank you. I'd like to, Honorable Mayor, can you, would you step up? He was part of this working and trying to get this to this point. Yeah.
So I'll read the prepared statement. Access to great transportation is foundational to opportunity. This partnership between Takata and VIA will unlock a new future for Twin Cities public transportation, supporting economic growth, strengthening access to essential services, and enhancing quality of life. By investing in innovation, we will ensure this transportation is achieved and without increasing costs to deliver high-quality transit services that our community deserves. I would like to commend the board and thank you for your leadership. Oftentimes, on that side, it's a different view than on this side. And you don't have the luxury of Monday morning quarterback because you're dealing with the real issues firing at you point blank. And governing is much different than campaigning because you have to make the hard and tough decisions. Just to dispel some of the chatter in the public square, which I realize, the office of the mayor cannot address every whim and cry. But Takata is not being taken over. We're not going to lose our connection with the community because different management is coming in. This board vetted and worked closely with VIA. So the choice was a partnership where the community will not lose one of its greatest assets, which is our transportation system. There are mandates from the FTA, from MDOT, the state of Michigan, that Takata can no longer operate and function as it has in the past. And this is a move to bring about not just change, but transformation, where Takata is not still operating in the 80s and 90s, like an old flip phone. But this move, as Trustee Robinson's, eloquently stated, and I use this analogy, from a flip phone to an iPhone 17. because when I travel to DC and all over, transportation is so critical to the economic development and the progress of those cities. CTA in Chicago, Detroit, People Mover, DC, I mean, it's all over. And those are big cities, but Ben Harbor is unique because we're one of the smaller cities that has our own transportation system. And the move tonight, the vote tonight, will preserve it for 50, 60, 70 years to come. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, yes. Next. State your name and
My name is Yolanda Taylor. I come in with concerns of the move that the board made last night, appointing Mr. Little as the dollar ride person as from past events. But he had that position before and he was fired from, so I don't know why the mayor and the commissioner board got so much trust in this man, because I don't. And I think him over it or with his hands in it is tainted. And that's just how I feel. So y'all need to look into that.
hey, thank you for your comments. Any other comments? Any other public comments?
I'd like to, I guess, share and agree. You say it's been a long time. Well, 4 years ago, I think I was sitting in that seat, and we talked about it then.
Can you state your name, Oliver, for the
Sure.
record there?
Oliver Lindsay, friend of Takata at this point, was the interim for a while. I'm still doing the finance and compliance work for FTA, trying to keep the money flowing. But we had talked about mobility services is what VIA provides, and we didn't know if it'd be VIA, if it'd be one of the other 7 or one of the 15 that was interested in our RFI request for information. So we really did go out and research this well, and there were some that just didn't fit, and I said, oh, we can never afford VIA. They're the best one in the marketplace, and Dr. Shrum negotiated them down and got a real good price, I feel, and it's a fixed price, so they can't, charge us more than what's in the contract, and not to exceed clause. So for a finance guy, that's really important because I don't want to, have a deficit at the end of the year and try to get MDOT to pay us some more money. So yeah, we got the #1 provider, and you guys already talked about the technology. That's one of the big things, and I'm hoping we'll really see efficiencies. So I don't know what our ridership was. We're still counting that, but maybe it'll increase by 20% without increasing the workforce, just with efficiencies of technology. That's what I'm hoping to see, because it plays into finance. If you can transport more people, the FTA will give us more money. And we have done that in the past, actually, but we haven't been able to do it every year. And I'm hoping every year we'll get that extra 400,000, which considerably helps provide transportation in the community. Give VIA a lot of credit because they were flexible in the contract negotiation. We said if we get to a certain point, we have to cap this and do that. And they agreed to everything Todd and Teresa asked for. So that was really impressed me with the process there. The one thing I want to make you aware of now, since Dr. Sherm's leaving, you have an executive director position that's not filled. Well, we're going to see a whole restructuring. You're not going to see me anymore, probably. I'll be leaving after April 1st when VIA's team comes in. But you're going to have somebody in that executive director position before that time to be the liaison, shall we say, between the community and the contractor. If you don't have that, there's a good chance FTA will, hold those purse strings again. It's in the organizational chart that you have to have an executive director. There's other reasons, the DBE reporting, in the case there's a, minority type complaint, it has to be from the DBE officer, which is Mark, the guy that was on the phone, directly to the executive director for safety compliance. The safety officer has to be able to report to the executive director. So, we need to be thinking about what you're going to do next there. And maybe that's my parting advice, but Thank you. It's been a really good experience out here in Benton Harbor. I learned a lot, not only about boards, but about community. And you talked about, the mayor talked about the different ridership populations. I think if I've had probably 5 or 6 communities I worked in for multiple years, and this community needs that transportation more than any of them. So please keep doing what you do.
Okay, Oliver, how long was you with this organization?
How long have I been in public transit?
With Takata, I know.
Takata. Well, I came in 21 after Paul had a challenging triennial review, and I made a lot of corrective actions. And Bill Purvis and I worked together on that, so that was 2020, early 21, something like that. So 4 or 5 years. And I've worked with several different directors over the period. And I'm not going to get into all that, but first time I met Todd, I thought, oh, who is this guy? And I came out here tonight just to shake his hand and say goodbye, because I'm not going to be seeing him again. So he really did a good job. He fooled me at first, but he had it in him.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Hi, Apollonia Williams. I just wanted to speak a little bit about my experience, and after last night's meeting, I just felt like it was important for me to just say some things. I had a 3-year tenure as a board member, the board chair. I worked along with Oliver. We had a lot of rumors about why directors were fired. As he stated that the first director, we had a lot of corrective things that were on the audit that we needed to be corrected. And as time went by, things weren't changing. So our focus was being in compliance with FTA. That was our focus as a board. We worked really hard. Nicholas, he was with us. We worked really hard, did really hard work. And when I resigned, we were still in compliance. I don't know what the rumor is to try to disparage my name, is if I did something wrong or we did something wrong as a board. But when I was faced with trying to compromise my integrity, that's when the problems came, because I wasn't a puppet to whatever's going on. And I will say, during my tenure on the board, I'm not sure what Alex Little's obsession or why he's so adamant about being a part of the Dollar Ride board, but I really want to find answers and look into this, because even when I was on the board, he came to the meetings and tried to run the meetings when we were there, during the meeting. And last night, if you were fired from a company, from my understanding embezzlement, I'm not sure why it would be a good idea to hire you for the city manager, for one, and now put you back on the board for the company that you were fired from. But for some reason, even when I was on the board, I reached out to certain city officials for advice about different things. And at that time, I was told, we don't get involved with the Dollar Ride board. We don't get involved. But now it just seems like they are so much involved. So I'm just wondering, what's the deal with that? From my understanding, Todd and Alex are very good friends. So maybe that's where it's all coming from. I know with Oliver, when we worked together, we had integrity. It wasn't about my friends being in positions, because I heard that being said. My friend that was the previous executive director, she interviewed and was hired, and I did not sit in through her interview, and I did not choose her. She was chosen by other board members and voted in, because I chose to stay out of it because of the connection. So I decided to not vote on that one. So, just so I can clear up rumors and things, and I can tell you guys what's going on, because from what I see and from what my experience, if you don't do what so-and-so says or go how so-and-so wants you to go, then now you are the target. So I'm not sure it's plenty other commissioners or anybody else that could have been on the board. From my understanding, the urgency was because Ron Singleton couldn't be here tonight. So they had to vote last night because he couldn't be here tonight. And he's here. So again, transparency is all we ask for. Thank you.
Okay, you got a comment, Mr. Lulu?
I'd like to join the mayor in commending the board for taking the steps that you've taken and making the decisions that you have made. What's occurring here, people, look at the bigger picture. The city is positioning itself to be ready to move forward in this 21st century as a city. We are in the process of becoming host to some of the highest speed internet in the nation, coming right through Benton Harbor. We are addressing our infrastructure issues. We've got probably some of the cleanest water in the United States, as all of our lines have been replaced. You're seeing streets and curbs, gutters, sidewalks being prepared, and critical to a city moving. We're starting on housing. You see housing developments going up and taking place. There's going to be a strong push to get a lot of single-family duplex, quads, and so forth built in the city. Essential to a city's progress in this direction is reliable transit. Now, you can hear people say whatever they want to say, but what people are forgetting is when Alex Little went to transit in 2017, transit was on a last leg at that time with 32 violations that needed to be corrected from FTA. And when Alex Little left, all of them had been corrected, and there was a letter from the regional director at FTA to attest to that fact. It's the situation, as everybody knows, when we went into this thing is because we had reached a point where we didn't even have reasonable insurance. And it was not going to continue on indefinitely in that state with a $250,000 deductible. So basically, we had to resolve those issues, and more than any other, on-time, reliable performance by the system to get people to where they had to go when they're supposed to be there was the greatest weakness that our system had. When I was there, the thing we battled against was old ladies sitting out in the snow and ice for 2 hours waiting on a bus to pick them up. So this is going to resolve those issues, and that's going to be for the good of the system, of the city, and eventually the entire region, I believe. So again, I commend you. I think it's going to help transit step up to its rightful place in the redevelopment of this area, and that's a positive.
Thank you.
My name is Lorelei. I'm a driver. And since Mr. Little brought it up, I guess my question's to him and Mr. Mayor. So we're moving forward, and we're talking about all this infrastructure, and I am excited about this company moving forward. But we can't improve if our streets don't improve. I mean, since he brought it to the table, we got so much ice, we can't open, we can't drive. You know, we're not getting, you go across the bridge, it's like a rainy day. You come to Ben Harbor, you can't stand up. So we can't move the people, we can't grow. So I'm taking this as a promise to do better by the upkeep of the city. Because we can't do anything without, you know, if the drivers can't go out and drive, you got people that's calling, saying you're not open. They're finding out last minute, and now they're late for work. If we're responsible for getting them to work, you got to give us, you know, the leeway to get them there. We got to be able to open. So I'm looking for that little promise that we can get our streets where we are moving. You know, the summertime, you talked about the housing. The housing ain't gonna take care of itself if you care. If working class people can't live in those houses, and you're putting people in there that you're teaching for the upkeep, and they can't keep it up, somebody's dropping the ball, because who's knocking on the door saying we need this? I mean, because everybody's getting a paycheck, right? City ordinance getting a paycheck, then you don't see anything. You can't walk down the sidewalks. You got trees laying on the sidewalks. You can't, I mean, there's a whole lot of things. And if, now, tell me if I'm wrong, if we get money for the upkeep of this city, it's been declining for the last 10 years. Something is happening. And if we're gonna grow, we need to grow full circle.
And my response to that is what I'm hearing are fair and reasonable concerns. The only issue is that we are doing better than what we've done in the past. You're seeing more streets being reconstructed and rebuilt, Pipestone, Colfax, all over the city. As far as the issue with ice and snow, unfortunately, we can't control the weather, and we don't have the same level of resources that many of our neighboring communities do. So we're doing the best and we'll continue. We don't because, one, you don't have the tax base. That's the primary reason you don't. And you also have,
Okay, we can't have, we won't have that back and forth. Yeah, okay.
I have a comment I'd like to make, if that's okay. I am very excited about the partnership with VIA. I think, as has been said, it's going to come with so many benefits to the community and to our passengers. We mentioned coming into the modern day. That is absolutely true. We're going to have better access to transportation, understanding your wait times, all of those things. But we are also going to be able to serve passengers in the way they've always been served. For anyone who might be watching this or who might want to follow up on this later, if you've been making phone calls to Takata, you are still going to be able to make phone calls. If you prefer to pay in cash, you are still going to be able to pay in cash. This is going to be kind of a partnership transition to make sure that we are both meeting our current passengers and meeting where they are headed. So, like I said, very excited. Also, we haven't mentioned this yet, but again, for anyone who might be concerned, often with partnerships like this comes concerns about fare increases, transportation shifts, things like that. One of the things that we're very excited about is that this agreement includes language where the board is going to be in charge of any fare increases. They're going to have to approve any expansions, any service changes. So, as to Cora's point, even though VIA is not living in Benton Harbor the way maybe the managers or whatnot have in the past, it is very much meant to serve the Benton Harbor community. And as long as the board sees fit to make that happen, which I'm sure will be for many, many years to come, that is going to continue to happen. I also want to take this opportunity, since I have the three of them here for once, to acknowledge the current Takata staff. And this goes for the drivers and the dispatchers, maintenance, everybody. But I do want to bring forward Tornita, Nick, and Jeff. They have known that this transition was impending for quite some time. And every step of the way, they have stepped up, they have grown, they have improved things like our maintenance. And yes, we have had limitations because of our technology. And, it didn't make sense to procure technology when we're trying to procure a technology in a management company. So we've been in this transition space for a long time. And I just really want to highlight the wonderful job that all three of them have done over the past year. And again, not to forget my drivers and my dispatchers. You guys have hung on too. You've had no idea what this transition was going to be like, and you still have so many questions that are very, very valid. And I really appreciate how many of you have continued to show up even with that uncertainty. I genuinely think that this is going to be a wonderful transition for everybody involved and lead to stability for Takata for the foreseeable future that this agency and this service region has not had in at least a decade. So congratulations to everybody. And yeah, it's just wonderful to see this moving forward.
Thank you. Any more public comments? Ms. Robinson, trustee comments.
I'd like to make a comment. Just to take the spotlight off of this board, if it had not been for Dr. Shern sitting in that chair over there, bringing back the information, explaining all the hard things that we didn't quite understand, providing the great leadership that he has done for us, I want to just let him know how much we truly appreciate him. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, I hate to see you leave. I wish we could keep you, but I know you have a better life someplace else. But I just didn't want this all to be, what the board has done. But without your great leadership and your directorship and guiding us and giving us the information and making sure we fully understood where we were heading and comforting us when we were scared and not quite sure if, where we were going, you were there. You were there, patting us on the back, telling us this is what we need to do. And I just can't say enough words to just show my gratitude to you, because you have been a great leader, and we really, really appreciate you. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson.
Ms. Robinson, you couldn't have said it no better. Let me remind y'all about this dollar ride situation. This dollar ride had board and the employees was in cahoots, jumping in, out, jumping in, out. But let me say this to you. That was the big problem. It wasn't Mr. Little. The mayor found out what was going on. The mayor selected his board. And now it came to this point. You're lucky that we still got a transportation. Todd was a blessing in the sky. When you said, when the person said Mr. Little and Todd is friends, well, we need friends like that. But I'm going to say this, Mr. Little is part of this movement too. But the main thing is, we about to lose Ron Singleton. I wish he'd stay. Just like Todd, but both of them got a life. The reason why this board is going to pretty much be in contact and stable because of Mr. Little and the mayor. Now, it's sad when you see a great leader like Ron Singleton finna leave, you want to follow right behind him. But however, by this board, this new board that we've been together, we don't argue among each other, we get things done. We don't help get few employees back to work. But you know what? That comes from a board, a real board. Now, with this new company taking over, I'm glad. You can't pick and choose, you can't bully them, you can't say nothing. Without this transportation in the city of Benton Harbor, we have nothing. Mr. Little, when he first came aboard, it was some industries trying to take over it. They said, Mr. Little leave, we got it. Well, what done happened was they flipped the strip a little bit when they seen him become the city manager. Now that's power within. Now by Mr. Little being on this board, and Mr. Ron Singleton gonna be leaving, we need another leader like that. We need that. We have Ms. Robinson. I'm glad she's staying. We got Virgil. I hope he stay. When Ron was going, I wanted to exit too, But however, Ron said, don't do that. Help is coming. So let me say this to you. We have one of the greatest mayors we done had since Wesley Cook. He has carried us from the bottom to the top. Let this mayor, do what he need to do. He knew what he was doing by putting Mr. Little on his board. The feds ain't got no problem with it, so why should you? You all should be thankful for having a job. By that being said, thank you very much.
Okay, point of order here, please. We go, these are tax. Mr. Hatchett, you got any parting comments? No?
I always have comments, as you know. I don't know about the history necessarily of this board and all the complications that employees have had with directors and what have you. I know when we came, we had a director and that quickly changed, and we were in a position with our insurance coverage, which almost made us fall apart. And again, Todd and Teresa coming in and helping us with some of those issues have helped us survive. I do know and understand that I think everybody should understand that this is a work in progress, that there's some things that are happening in this city that are tremendously amazing. I mean, I've been here for a long time and was gone for a long time, and seemed like when the politics changed in this city, so did the city. But now it's coming back with strong political leadership and strong financial measurements that things are happening in the city. You can see it. It's not, you don't have to be blind to see what's happening in the city. If you've been here, you see stuff happening. And to marvel at that or to appreciate that should be a given for someone that has been around here. You know, you can't hold things that have happened that have been dysfunctional in the past against our future. Please don't do that, because our future is in front of us, and it can be so good and prosperous if we don't sabotage it. So, and that's for all of us as a city and as members and as employees and as board members and, you know, just general citizens. We need to be aware of that and appreciate the changes the positive changes that are happening in the city.
Thank you. All right, that's nothing else said. Well, she pulling on me. I will say my final words again. You know, it's definitely been a pleasure to serve on this board. It's been a pleasure to work with you know, the staff at Takata and the executive director. You know, I mean, again, when we first came in here, man, I said, what, you know, I really wanted to go to the mayor and say, tell him a few things and say, and why did you, you know, why did you do that, you know, and but I think he probably knew my capability, and you know, and if I was going to jump into it, that I was going to jump into it with my whole heart and look at, you know, doing things to just make it better for this, you know, the citizens, you know, the people that ride the buses that need the transportation, you know. I was around, I guess, back when, you know, we always talk about Wilbur Brown and, you know, build his name after, you know, when he, you know, when it started, and, you know, the compassion that he had, you know, to, you know, make sure that things was going right, you know, and his different board members, the late former mayor, Mickey Yarbrough, he, you know, he held it dear to his heart too. And, you know, people just, you know, really needed to know that they were going to still have transportation here. You know, when we took over, it was just, you know, one thing after another, and, you know, and like we was just shooting ourselves in the foot. You know, we couldn't get a break, you know. We make some headway, and then here come an accident, you know. We do something else, here comes something else, you know, and, you know, but we just, you know, we didn't give up, and that's what counted. We didn't give up. I tried to talk Todd into staying. Matter of fact, I'm the one that talked him into taking the interim director job, you know, because the last one, he left, you know, I don't know if he gave us a 2-week notice or not, but but I think he kind of realized that, you know, it was probably a big challenge for him, and, you know, he went off to do some other things, and I, you know, commended him for it. But we were left, you know, with what we're going to do now, you know. neither one of us wanted wanted that position. And Todd was already in there with see Oliver shaking his head. He didn't want it either. But Todd stepped up and did the job with his, with his help from Teresa. They worked as a team and just got things done. Everything wasn't pretty. Change, is sometimes it hurts. Change hurt, but the better things, you have to make some changes. We definitely could not, and we was told we could not, continue to go as business as usual. You lose your funding, you lose the state funding, you lose federal funding. You're done. The little millage that we pay here as taxpayers would not sustain the operation at all. You might be lucky if you got a bus, with that. So it is, like I say, sometimes it's change is hard, but sometimes it's necessary. And in this case, it was definitely necessary to keep this operation and keep the citizens in this area that depend on transportation, some transportation here. So kudos to everybody that worked on this. And I just ask that, people give it a chance. Let's, put down and, for the betterment of this community, everybody said they love it, let's see if we can just put away the I guess the malice, the bad feelings and everything, and give this thing a chance to work. And I think you'll be, surprised and very happy that you did. So, again, I tried to talk them in the stand, and I understand when it's, when you have some things, other things that you need to do, that's why, I'm leaving. I got some other things I need to do. The grandkids are demanding more time now, they told me, hey, you gave, quite a few years, we need some now. So, hey, that's what I'm going to do. But I will be, checking in and, hopefully I don't have to come back, Don't hold me to that. Yeah. So, but again, thank everybody. Thank this board, Cora, Virgil, Daryl, Yep. Yep. Miss Vivian, our recorder, that's my classmate from, we went to school. Yeah, we all classmates. Yeah, come to think of it, yeah, class of 74, boy. All right, man. Okay. All right. So just thank everybody for, if there's no other comments, as my good friend who sit on my, from the commission, Mr. Ison, expect great things. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
You've been moved and second. Roll call.
Trustee Singleton.
Yes.
Trustee Hatchard. Yes. Trustee Jackson.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson, yes.